This week, the University of Michigan just got an in-state class of 2022 commitment, helping to bolster their future defense. Purdue just signed a hometown linebacker who will be on campus soon. A one-time Minnesota commit from Ohio signed with Pitt as the Panthers secondary just got bigger. That and more on this week's State Champs Scout Show. Welcome back to the best weekly recruit report in the Midwest. State Champs Scout Show is powered by Lawrence Technological University. No need to wait. Recruit yourself at ltuathletics.com. I'm Lauren Plant. 50 weeks a year, we have Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio covered. Ryan Van Dyke has some really good advice all athletes should hear. It's the season of giving, so let's find out whose stockings are nice and full. We'll begin in Michigan. Lauren Plant staying with you for Michigan news in recruiting. Needing to replenish its depth on the offensive line, the University of Michigan got a commitment this weekend from a guy who could help the Wolverines do that in River Rouge's Devontae Miles. Ranked a 3-star recruit by 24/7 Sports and a top 20 player in the state's 2022 class, Miles had 16 other offers to choose from, including Michigan State, Minnesota, Indiana, Pitt, West Virginia, Kentucky, and much of the Mid-American Conference. Up from 35 pounds from his freshman year at Rouge, the 6'5", 275-pound Miles can play inside or out at the next level, giving the Wolverines great flexibility. With just 2 upperclassmen on the roster at the position, U of M didn't get a defensive tackle yet in this year's class, adding only 3 pass-rushing end types. But they've got help coming in the next class from Miles and Essexville Garber 4-star defensive tackle Alex Van Sumeren. Sometimes that first offer just means more. After picking up offers from each of the West Side's 3 Division II schools, including a Grand Valley bid just last week, Muskegon-Mona Shore's do-it-all leader Brady Rose decided to commit to the first school to offer him back in September, giving a verbal to the Ferris State Bulldogs over the weekend. A contestant for the State Champs Mr. Football Award, Rose has accounted for more than 2,000 total yards and 31 touchdowns as a senior, helping lead the defending Division II state champion Sailors to a 9-0 record through the district championship game. If you overlooked Griffin Shinrock as an opponent, it was at your peril, as the St. Joseph senior racked up 15 touchdowns through the air and more than 100 receiving yards per game. If you overlooked him as a recruiter, well, that is all the more to the benefit of Division II powerhouse Grand Valley State, which picked up a verbal commitment from the 6'2", 190-pound athlete last week. Shinrock got his first Division I offer from Dayton back in July and had earlier D2 offers from Northwood and Ferris State before picking up a bid from the Lakers 4 days before he committed. Lawrence Tech picked up a commitment from shifty, speedy slot receiver Justin Gabriel of Walled Lake Western over the weekend. Through 8 games, the 5'6", 155-pounder racked up 715 all-purpose yards and 9 scores, catching 55 passes for 551 yards and 5 touchdowns. Gabriel had offers from Morgan State, Siena Heights, and Ohio Northern, as well as a roster spot from Albion College. North Farmington All-State running back Justin Whitehorn committed to Saginaw Valley State on Monday. The transfer from Detroit Renaissance has rushed for more than 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns so far as a senior. Almost half of that, 470 yards and 6 scores, coming in North Farmington's 2 playoff wins leading up to its district title. Prior to SVSU's offer on December 18th, Whitehorn had offers from Quincy University, Lake Erie College, Davenport, and Lawrence Tech. Better late than never. Recruiting is picked up quickly this month for Midland senior defensive back and athlete Elijah Gordon. After collecting a handful of Division III roster spot offers, Gordon picked up his first D2 offer from Crosstown Northwood early in December, then grabbed bids from NAIA's Marion and Siena Heights and D2's Central State earlier this month before getting his first D1 FCS offer from Valparaiso on December 17th. The 6', 184-pound Gordon was a 3-year varsity starter for the Chemics and a 3-time All-Saginaw Valley League honoree. Can play either the safety position or all over the field on offense. He was an all-purpose threat as a senior, racking up nearly 1,200 all-purpose yards and 12 scores, most of that coming on 41 catches for 10 scores and nearly 700 receiving yards. On defense, he had 48 tackles, forced 2 fumbles, and broke up 11 passes. That's the latest from the state of Michigan. I'm Lauren Plant. If you're a high school athlete with the dream of playing college sports, Lawrence Technological University wants you to recruit yourself. LTU offers over 24 varsity sports for men and women, along with several dozen world-class undergraduate programs. Athletic and academic scholarships are available in all sports, including its newest additions, competitive cheer and dance, esports, women's hockey, and men's and women's track and field. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
This is Scott Bernstein from Indiana. The reverberations from his tackles won't be leaving West Lafayette. Yanni Karloftis, the number one linebacker in the state's class of 2021 and the captain of West Lafayette's linebacker unit for the last 4 years, committed to play his college football close to home and signed with Purdue last week. Karloftis is a rugged outside backer who plays like a bull in a china shop, sideline to sideline. He's one of the hardest tacklers in America, pure blunt force trauma on impact. He missed most of his senior season with a hamstring injury and will join his big brother George in the Boilermakers lineup next year. Purdue got the nod over Indiana, Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Cal, Oregon, Nebraska, Notre Dame, and Penn State. As a junior at West Lafayette, he recorded 80 tackles. As a sophomore, he had more than 100 tackles on a state title team. From the world of quarterback recruiting, Michiaqua Penn's Ronnie Paulus committed to following his dad's footsteps at Notre Dame. Paulus's dad was a schoolboy legend in Pennsylvania in the early 90s and started for the Fighting Irish under center for 4 years, while Fort Wayne Northside stat machine Deuce Taylor committed to Morgan State. Taylor was pure electricity in the pocket this past fall, throwing for 3,000 yards and 33 touchdowns. In a pair of last-second grabs at the wide receiver position, Miami of Ohio got sure-handed Carmel slot receiver Colton Parker to sign to play in the MAC. Parker is a whirling dervish of diversity, having quarterbacked Carmel to a 6A state championship as a junior in 2019. And Wake Forest of the ACC came in at the final hour and flipped Indianapolis Pike split end Xavier Simpson from his Air Force commitment. Checking in from Indiana, this is Scott Bernstein.
Did you record an unbelievable touchdown, a game-winning goal, or just a proud parent moment? Then we want your clip. Upload your video to the brand new State Champs Network app so we can feature it on one of our shows and give your player, team, and school the recognition they deserve. All it takes is just a few easy clicks, and every clip that is submitted will automatically be eligible for prizes. Download the State Champs Network app today for iPhone and Android devices.
Hi guys, Ryan Van Dyke, State Champs Network. 2020 has been a difficult year to process. So much of what we do as athletes involves outcomes, results. There's a score to determine the winner and loser, the champion's crown. None of which has happened this year. The virtual schooling, the Zoom sessions with your teams, it's kind of like an unexpected new normal. And not to be lost in the chaos is you. Specifically the high school student athlete. The class of 2021 will enter this adult world in just a few months. So what about them? This topic has weighed heavy on my heart, and I want to expand on a few things I feel you should hold near and dear to your heart. You know, during the course of my week as a personal quarterback trainer, I speak with my quarterbacks, the teammates who join them for workouts, their parents, as well as coaches. And I can speak for all of them when I say this: your efforts were not for nothing. I've been blessed with a career that allows me to really connect with football players across the state of Michigan daily. And during our workout sessions, I have the opportunity to impart wisdom, perspective. I'm able to share my trials and tribulations, so it serves as a launch pad into these people's next season, these next chapters of their lives. It's humbling and rewarding to watch these young men realize real progress, tangible results, great outcomes. So this week in particular, I've had kids reach out to me for a lack of a better term of saying it. So now what, coach? Like, what do I do now? And if you're ever in a position of authority, this type of question should be carefully thought out before offering a response. So I took the time and researched some things that have helped me in my life that I'd like to pass along to you. Next week, we're going to take a deeper dive into this topic and a little bit more around what I have to say about it. This is Ryan Van Dyke with State Champs Network.
This is Alan True with your latest recruiting happenings from the state of Ohio. Cincinnati Winton Woods cornerback Tamarian Crumpley committed to Pittsburgh and signed with the Panthers on the first day of the early signing period. A one-time Minnesota commit, Crumpley was a second-team All-State selection, first-team All-District, and first-team All-Conference pick as a senior. He has great size at 6'2", 180 pounds, and the physicality to play in Pat Narduzzi's defense. Tyrese Hudson of Columbus Bishop Ready has given a commitment to Marist College and will sign with them in February. He is a 5'10", 165-pound running back and slot receiver with open field elusiveness and breakaway ability. He brings 4.5 speed in the 40-yard dash to the Red Foxes. Akron Copley defensive end A.J. Campbell switched his commitment to UCLA from Vanderbilt and signed with the Bruins. Despite never being to campus, he says it was a dream come true to be in LA and play for the school. Campbell was the co-defensive player of the year in Ohio Division III as a senior, with 83 tackles, 18 of those for loss, 13 sacks, and 2 interceptions. He also added 22 receptions for 348 yards and 5 touchdowns as a tight end. The Bruins like him on defense as an edge rusher. Findlay sophomore Luke Montgomery now has 8 scholarship offers after Indiana and Michigan recently added to the list. At 6'5", 265 pounds, he's played defensive end and tight end since his freshman year where he was a varsity starter, but schools also like his potential as an offensive tackle. He has other offers from schools like Cincinnati, Michigan State, and Penn State. He took a self-made visit with the Nittany Lions this fall. That's the latest for recruiting. I'm Alan True.
You can catch up on any previous episode of Scout Show by downloading the free State Champ Sports app or go to our website or social media, of course. Now, did you know you can find more recruiting news from the State Champ Scout team by checking out our weekly blogs at statechampsnetwork.com. News, rankings, stories, it's all there and no paywall, totally free. I'm Lauren Plant. Recruiting news doesn't take vacations, neither do we. We'll see you next week. From the entire State Champ Scout team to you, happy holidays. State Champs Scout Show is proudly presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare.